Okay, so Public Works, have you heard anything? You've looked up some things about the, oh good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to share some things with what we've discovered on the garland and the wreaths. But I will, sorry I'm out of breath. I got some of the shape running up the stairs.
Place for an elevator, huh?
Okay, so let's see. Yeah, so do you want to give an update of what you found out about the wreaths, I guess, the current condition, and then
And here, so I went with Mike DeLine, the city's electrician, to kind of, because I've never really seen these up close and personal, the wreaths or the garlands. So I don't know if you guys wanted to, I just went and took some pictures to basically find out the condition of it, and he was explaining the issues that we're having. So currently, I got a whole bunch of different things here. So currently we have 7 wreaths with candles and then 6 wreaths with the big bells. And then we have 7 of the large street garlands that go across the street, but only 6 are usable. And so he was saying, what? Oh, and so Mike was saying a lot of it was the sockets, and they're really old and they're worn out with the rain that comes down in the weather. It corrodes them, and so it causes the lights to go out. You have to completely replace these sockets. So I tried to get some pictures of the actual sockets. So we contacted, I contacted a couple vendors, and basically they recommended we do not ship these out to them for repair. It would be, I think we kind of really talked about it.
to get it out there, long haul.
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So they would say, maybe replace, 1 or 2 a year. You can get up to that, or you can just basically order them all out. Mike said when he, and maybe you were part of that, but when he fixes them to go repair, that there's zip ties around each of the garlands and also the wreaths, and he has to go and take apart those zip ties. And there's metal pieces that poke out. He kind of gets scratched a lot. You just don't know where it's at. And sorry. And so in here they have, it's just kind of wrapped throughout. So he said for one of the garlands, it was about a day and a half for one person to fix it.
And that's a constant.
A constant, yes. Yeah.
So I know that there was some previous conversation with the committee of maybe we can get a group together to go out and maybe help fix the garlands as a group effort. And so Mike's position was that because there's so many sharp wires and the electrical outlets, he recommends that we not have groups of volunteers come out and help and assist with that.
Yeah, mainly for safety reasons, because and then he kind of showed me throughout, and some of them are green, so they blend in with the green of the wreath or the garlands, and you just can't see them, unfortunately, until you get scratched or poked. So I did receive some quotes from Display Sales.
But just going back for just a minute, so he did say that we were able to salvage 5 of them this year.
We can use 6 of them.
6 of them, sorry.
Six wreaths?
So we can get another year's
garlands.
worth.
6
out of 12?
6 out of 8.
6, yes, yeah.
6 out of 8.
Yeah, if you can get one more year, it's imperative to find replacements.
Yeah,
And I'll touch on that in just a minute.
And there's a couple different types. So I did get quotes on wreaths and garlands. And the vendor back in the day that we purchased these from originally is no longer around. They just are no longer a business. So I've been talking to Display Sales is really the main people. They've been really fast with their responses. So they can do, and the one thing I'm not quite sure, and I apologize, is they were quoting me on pieces. So you get like a 25 foot and then you connect it to another 25 foot to make it a 50 foot. She said they don't sell like the large one strand that goes across the street.
So they don't sell.
You're talking about lights
custom.
or garland?
The garlands, that it would be kind of pieced together, and it depends on what size pieces
In
you want.
20-foot strands, 25 feet strands, yeah.
Yeah, but they do have them. They all come with the LED bulbs. They have the bows on them. They also gave us quotes on, like the 25-foot garland with the lights. This one is quoted at $199 for that. So I'm not not
The
sure.
one with shipping?
I believe this
It's kind
is
of a
not
moot point
including.
because they won't work. I mean, the price is kind of a moot point because they won't work. Every one of those is a custom length.
Is it all
You
just
just-
one piece?
It's all one
It
piece.
is one piece?
Yeah.
And we have the original, I have the original in a folder, the blueprints, if you will, of each one measured and
Yeah, so we have to have a custom, so we can't do 25 feet put it together type of thing?
No.
It doesn't work, okay,
would either be too short or too long,
right.
guaranteed.
Yeah.
And that's the issue we're having now is that these poles, as the years go on, the poles that they're attached to are folding into the street, makes them now to the point where we have to take special precaution when we put them up to get them at the right height, because they sag so much.
We don't even know if we're gonna be keeping those poles, do we? They have to be replaced, that's what I understand.
Yeah, they're rotting.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
Mike had mentioned some about that too.
If we didn't go with garland and we just went with side decorations like, let's see, Port Townsend and Paulsbo, quite a few communities have those decorations right on the poles, which are very pretty.
You talk about the banners and things?
Like snowflakes or bells or whatever they are. but
Something lightweight.
They're lighted, but if our
Light.
poles don't even, what do we do, right?
We only have, when you mention the lighted, we only have power on one side of the street.
What a wonderful little place we live in. Yes. All
Your new
right.
buildings
So-
that you can plug into?
It's a lot more
Yeah,
complicated
it's a
than
little
that.
more complicated because it's private.
And we've been through this before too, haven't we? Yeah. Well,
So I think in speaking to Mike, from what I understand, and even in the rest of the public works crew, is that we can probably salvage one more year. It's not gonna be fully decorated as it's been in the past, but they're gonna try and get as many of the garland up and as many as the wreaths to salvage those up this year. I have slated to put in the Festival of Chimes and Lights budget for 2017 to replace some sort of garland or wreaths. So I budgeted $7,000 for 2017, so it'll be presented to the council here in the next probably 4 to 6 weeks. So it's gonna be up to the council whether we can get those passed for 2017. It is included in the budget and not part of a supplemental,
okay.
just because there was some flux in revenue and they spread the wealth through all the departments, including Chimes and Lights. So we're able to have that in there within budget for the biennial.
So 7,000 though would only replace part of what we have.
The quote that we received was 6,200, and that included some wreaths and, let me see what it was. It was 6,200, do you have that one?
No.
Okay. So I have the quote in my budget file, and it was about $6,200, and it was for wreaths. It was to get the exact amount of quantity that we have, footage-wise and number of garland and the number of wreaths.
However,
Wreaths.
as they're
Yeah.
saying, those two 25-foot sections put together wouldn't work.
Right, those wouldn't work, but we're hoping that we can use, with the direction of the committee, when we get to that point, the beginning of next year, is to use those funds to go out and try what is the direct decorations that we want to use moving forward with the funds. So whether it's to, I don't know what it is.
It
But-
seems that the garlands are probably more important or something to replace those than even the wreaths.
What's
No.
the issue with taking two 25-footers and putting them together? If you have access, can't you, I don't know the construction of these things, can't you just take the excess
Zip
and
tie.
loop it around or something like that?
Well, yeah, you have to find a place for that excess. And then on one end of the garland cord is the actual power source.
Mhm.
So then you have to be able to, if you say 50 foot typically isn't enough,
Yeah, that's,
but
I
then
don't,
75 feet is way too much.
Mhm.
So,
yeah, I'm not sure if we even have any that's 50 feet. I think it's more.
yeah,
They're all more.
I think they range from 60, low 60s to almost 80 feet.
Wow.
So,
I know when Janine
So you
was
have,
looking at vendors,
you have a
some-
cable already up there.
Build a custom.
We string these on the cable
Ones that I found,
and they
yeah.
kind of loop across. But the problem is they don't go from one side to the other, and then you've got your power cord, we have to kind of make, rig something up to get up the power source up to that end of that, if it's too short.
Do they have good sales on it?
I can definitely find out.
I'm getting advertisement from them,
Yeah.
so I'm sure we'll have something
Okay.
that I can pass on to the committee. But I haven't looked at them yet. I know I've just been getting them in my email and I haven't had a chance to look at them. So I know I'm getting advertisement from them. But I don't know if it's just mainly banners.
Yeah, they do have a lot of other decorations. They have banners, they have, kind of like we have that big Santa Claus that's outside. They have a whole bunch of different stuff like that. I can get a magazine or a brochure and send it to you guys if you'd like, just to kind of see the different stuff that they have.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Now, every meeting I brought up that I used to buy this stuff in a former life, and I have a contact to import it. And I have all kinds of, I know people that are still in that business.
Can you bring it to the next meeting? Some information?
Not really, you bring them the information, you can have them custom made.
Oh.
Over in well, it used to be Hong Kong, but in China.
Can we buy foreign stuff?
I will look into that. I don't know.
Did Mike mention to you too about having those sockets weatherproof?
He was going to, yes, he did.
Because they do have they do have lights that have weatherproof sockets.
Yes, and
It's one thing changing bulbs out, that's easier for us to do. We do that every year before we put them up. We go through the strings, we pick out the bad bulbs, we put in new bulbs, and most of the time now, they're not working because the socket's bad. But
That's
Mike
right.
did mention that there is a waterproof socket available.
Okay.
That's the way we should be leaning that direction.
Or LED.
Yeah, LED,
Yeah.
it's the socket.
Right, but LED, if it's a solid state, they're not, you can have them just built into the, I mean, they're waterproof to begin with, and
These-
they rarely burn out.
These use like a C9 bulb
Yeah.
screw in, so
Mhm.
it's a small base screw in bulb, and it has the same, the socket is the same regardless of,
Yes.
so
They're all in
if
here.
water can get into that socket, even if it's an LED bulb, it's.
Unless it's hardwired in that way.
Yeah, exactly.
And he did mention that. I know we talked about what was left in the 2016 budget to go and purchase. I know that we didn't have enough to do all of them, but he was gonna, I gave him the budget figures and he was gonna try and purchase those and replace what he could with those.
Oh,
So, yeah.
And one quick thing before I forget, on this quote, they did have the wreaths. So they quoted the wreaths as $334 each. And the ones with the bows, $334, and then the ones with the candles, there's 3 candles, they quoted them at $373 for each of those wreaths. And those are, I think they're 4 foot wreaths,
Yes.
about
Yeah.
4 foot.
The only thing that we would have as far as criteria was the mounting bracket. We have mounting brackets already on the pole, so the new reef would have to match the existing mounting brackets that are already on poles.
Okay, how would I,
Well, that was
you know,
that was the system that we were
Yeah.
given to start with, so we didn't
Yeah.
have much of a choice.
okay.
So, but that's something that we can swap it over if we have to. I don't know.
Just as long as it's the,
Yeah, see, I don't know
collates with.
who you're gonna go through with. If it's a different supplier, then it may be a different bracket.
okay. Yeah, I think it was Wayne Manufacturing who we purchased the original from, and so, yeah, I just been in a lot of contact with display sales, so,
Sorry.
yeah, no.
But, so I think this year we're gonna try and put some sort of decorations up, and then next year wait till the budget passes, and then we can, hopefully the committee will get together early on and we can reach out to, I'll check to see if we can do some international trading, I'm not quite sure.
That would be
It's trading, but-
wonderful. Especially we can do some custom pieces.
Yeah, I don't know what the rules are.
Well, there's
but-
a whole
but yeah.
world out there, I mean, there's just, you can't believe what's out there.
We usually
That's
try to
probably a
shop
very
as
good company,
local as
but-
we can, but when we have these many restrictions.
And I'm not sure in our resources very limited to Google. And so the only thing that we found was that just a couple vendors, right?
Who do the, yeah.
And we couldn't find any custom, they were all whatever, 25 feet, 50
Yeah, where you
feet.
put them together, and maybe I'm just not, searching the right terms, but it looks like it has to be some sort of distribution, holiday distribution lights type place, so I just kind of was going all the ones that I could and emailing everyone that I could, and these are the ones who've really been in contact,
Okay.
and they're kind of limited on.
Well, yay, at least we have 7,000. That's cool.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. I'm pretty sure. Everybody knows it's a dire situation. So the 6 of those 8 garlands, could all 8 be put up even if 2 are not lit?
Yes, we've done it in the past.
Okay. So we can still put up all 8, but strategically locate them so maybe.
Just like every other one, so there's lights.
Well, whatever.
Light.
You guys really do know what works the best.
Yeah, they all go, with the exception, no, I think they all go in the parking lot here.
Oh, you're talking about the wreaths?
Oh, and the garlands,
Oh,
I
the
mean.
garland, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the first and last that aren't lit, or however you work it.
Okay.
Well, we started with 9,
9.
and then we eliminated 1 because they reconfigured the traffic signal lights. They used to hang
I
on
remember
strings
that.
or watt cable, and now they're on monopoles. And so there was a sight distance issue with that set of garland going eastbound on Bay Street, so we had to eliminate that, and then we had another one that went, what did the other one?
We had a new garland that had these, there were attachments to them that hung on down way too low. So we had to eliminate that.
Okay.
Because it was, I mean, to put it up and then to put the attachment on, it was in the line of traffic, so.
Yeah, not good.
So that's something, the frills on those, we don't need. Just normal
This garland.
scarf.
No extra stuff.
The bows are fine because we can attach.
Unless we
those.
switch gears,
Yeah.
you know, go with something maybe on the side poles or whatever.
Currently, the garland has detachable bows because we wouldn't be able to store the garland and the bows together. They have to be stored separately because of the bolt. So, I don't know if that makes a difference when you're looking or not, so.
You two will definitely be included in this discussion. No one knows all of the details like you guys do. Okay, well, thank you so much. That's a good starting point then, isn't it? If we replaced everything, Randy, would 7,000 be enough? Depending on the
Let me-
custom work, huh?
Let me look at the quote that I received to see if, I could have sworn it was all in there, including shipping.
Okay,
So I will double check.
wonderful. All right, advertisement brochures?
Can we talk about the Christmas tree?
Oh, yes, please. Christmas tree.
We know nothing about what's going on with the Christmas tree.
The last word we got was that we were gonna have a volunteer.
Yeah, we're gonna bring it. We'll bring it to town.
You bring it, you
Yeah,
pick it out.
we'll pick it out. We're
Okay.
gonna cut it, pick it out. They're looking at it again, out. It's on the backside of Kitsap Lake. They're logging off some area out there. They're gonna make a gravel pit out there. So they're gonna either take the top out of one of the bigger trees. It'll be a 35 footer.
Okay.
So we'll bring it, the mayor said that if we get it to town, that he'll get it, so we'll make sure and get that all arranged with when it comes to town and when it works with you guys too, so.
Because I don't know if there's a plan for setting the tree yet.
No,
Yeah, so we have no way to set it. I can get it to town and get it here,
Yeah.
but the mayor seemed to think that they could set the tree. I don't know how you set the trees in the past.
Well, we hire a guy with
Okay.
a crane truck,
Okay,
not a crane truck, is it a crane truck? No.
Yeah, crane.
Big
Crane truck.
lift.
Yeah.
It's a crane truck with a cable that we,
It's a pretty big challenge,
yes.
and.
but we can get the tree to town.
Right.
The challenge is getting it off the trailer and getting it spotted.
yeah.
Yeah, and
You
so
know,
that
and-
would take a little bit of coordination between
Yeah.
Public Works and then you guys that are transporting it.
we generally like to do that work the week before Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and that's all,
Okay.
something we'll work around your schedule.
Okay. That way it gives us all that time to
Yeah.
get decorated.
Because we just need to know exactly so that I'm not holding you up or
Sure.
we get to town and there's nobody to get the tree off the trailer, so.
Right.
Because the guy that's bringing it in is the guy that's logging it, so,
Oh, cool.
yeah, so he's gonna donate it to us and then we'll donate it to the city, so.
Okay. Now, did the mayor, I mean, is Rob gonna go out there and take a peek at it or anything,
No.
or no? Okay.
Yeah.
So, are there any restrictions with the size of the base or anything like that that you guys have to work with?
Yes, there is. We have the base of the tree, or the trunk,
Uh-huh.
that goes in. We have a 12-inch well
Right.
casing that goes in the ground.
Yeah,
and
we
so
looked at that
the
down
OD
there.
has to be
Okay.
less than 11 inches.
Okay. We'll just make sure that won't cut it.
And I have brought them in here and they've been bigger and I've actually trimmed them with a saw until they fit.
Yeah, because we went down and looked at the cup down there to see how big it
Oh,
was.
great.
Because I wasn't sure how it's set in there.
I know, another thing is when the tree is cut, sometimes the one side that it falls on breaks a lot of branches. And what they've had to do sometimes is
Oh, really?
take them out and bore holes in and stick them back
Yeah.
in. So when they're cut and they're falling, that's kind of a tricky thing too, right?
So,
Yeah.
so when we hear logger and logging, it's.
It actually, we'll
It kind of scares us a little bit.
we'll take care of it.
Okay.
I have to look at it all the time and I'll listen about it, so.
A few limbs
Thank
is
you.
okay, but. the
No,
whole
we'll,
side,
I'll make
rough,
sure,
rough.
I'll make sure that, gets addressed.
Could I get your phone number too, please? And that would be great, thank you.
Yeah,
We can-
get you an initial that and.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's wonderful though, that,
Yeah, I think that's
that now
great.
we have a tree and don't have to worry about that anymore.
Okay, so are we going to still stick with the same, like, try to get the same guy to offload for us?
Is it Ryder?
No.
No.
Was it Evergreen?
Case Code.
Okay, oh, yeah, Case
Okay.
Go.
So I guess what we'll do is we'll contact him.
Because I think he's always volunteered his time. I don't know that we've ever invoiced him for
I
that.
thought we
Did we?
hired him to haul the tree and set it,
Oh, we
because it
could.
was like.
Was that Brad?
Yeah, Brad.
Okay. So,
So we can contact him again and see if he's up for that.
And you have Roger Jensen's phone number, he gave that to you.
yeah, so, but mainly it's being connected.
Yeah, we'll get it all lined up in that, so that we're right on the thing, so do they will they take it off the trailer out front?
Yeah.
Well, you'll pull right into the parking lot and he'll set
Okay.
up so you can pull in there
Okay.
and pick it up. and then-
All right,
He'll run in alongside you.
Okay.
And we'll make,
Your phone number.
my contact would be, what is my contact?
we've got all the
You got our
phone numbers, yeah,
And
Okay.
for all
because
the
we,
wreaths and garlands
pretty
that
much
we did
talked
last
to-
time
Yeah.
was $50.
talk that, but we'll just get a line, so you're looking
So I think
at,
that's 7,000.
what day,
okay.
what day are you looking at, when you really?
We're kind of
But I'll- I'll confirm it.
kind of at the mercy
I thought
it was gonna be
of
one that was like
our
12.
guy,
That's
the
what I
crane
thought, but it
operator,
wasn't.
and your
Okay,
logger
well, I'm
guy,
happy
because
now. Thank you.
But I'll
if you can
double
get
check
them
the
to
quote
have
that I
it
got.
the same day, that would be great, and then that's the day we'll
Well, that's
do it.
happy news.
Yeah, see the guy, I call him a logger, but he's a tree farmer, that's what he is, see, so, it's,
That's why we like to do it the week before Thanksgiving, because
okay.
any day that week works, and then we got the 3
Okay.
days of Thanksgiving and then the week after.
Okay.
That Thanksgiving week's a short week for us, and it doesn't leave a lot of room to do
Right.
our normal duties.
Okay, I'll start
Okay.
that. Let's
So,
try Chimes. Okay.
What day's best, like on a weekday, I mean, do you have a day that's better than some, or?
Probably Tuesday, Wednesday, probably.
Tuesday,
I
Wednesday.
think the days that we,
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday probably be better.
and there again, we have the mercy.
Okay. Yeah, the biggest thing would just be coordinating everybody,
Yes,
you know?
and that's coming up.
And
Yeah.
it's always worked out in the past.
I'm not worried about it, I mean, I'm used to doing stuff on time, so there's not a problem with that.
It looks like we have paid to have the tree delivered. Is that what you're talking about?
No,
So-
we're not, it's not costing you anything.
No, but in the past, we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But that's all, is that part of the setting of the tree as well? Or is that separate?
That we will talk to him about
Yeah.
and get back to you, because I don't know
Because it looks like he hasn't invoiced us
for the, you probably just invoiced the delivery.
the delivery, gotcha, okay.
Well, thank you very much.
Sure. I mean, when
And
they
we
said
will
they had
certainly
it, I
recognize
mean,
you all for doing that.
well, I mean, we have contacts, so.
Uh-huh.
One of the guys in the club owns a
There's your-
Christmas tree farm, so he's the one that told us about this guy.
There's your answer for number 3,
On the agenda.
tree layer.
Well, thank you. Okay, so, is that, are we good then?
I think
You
so. I
guys?
think that's what we.
Yeah.
So we'll put stuff up even if it's not lit.
Because we originally heard rumors that this was all gonna be done by you, but we didn't get any official word.
Right, and I'm sorry about that. Yeah,
So
Yeah.
it's nice, I think that's a great deal.
it is. It's amazing what they're doing. Really appreciate
So
that.
we'll work on Brad this week, next week, whenever we can run into him, and get back to Brandy about.
Okay.
And once we have him pinned down, then we'll contact you, and then if we have to tweak
Yeah.
the times a little bit or days, so we can do that.
Because we're retired, so most of us, I mean, any day's a good day for me, so, I get away from the house for a little bit, so, I come over here, so, yeah, it works, so we're flexible, so.
All right.
Okay, I think that's,
You're
we'll get
good.
out of your way now. then.
Thank you very
Break out
much.
the
Have some
alcohol.
extra chairs.
Okay, now advertisement and brochures.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. See ya.
See you guys.
Okay, so, kind of work backwards in that. I reached out to our utility billing department, and the flyers, whatever marketing materials that we're gonna use to put in the utility billing, to go with the September 30th and the October 31st billings, they will need middle of September at the very latest.
Which is passed.
Yes.
But
So,
you said that you had most
yeah.
of the information together.
We have this flyer here, which I'm assuming most of it's not gonna change.
Oh,
other
it is gonna
than-
change.
Oh, it is?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah. That does get changed. The schedule of events
Here.
does change and the outside will
Okay.
get changed. That's due September 15th, or you're talking?
She was talking to me about wanting it earlier this year. So I need about, depends on how close we push it to Christmas. Like if you want it towards the end of October, by the end, and I think I put this on here because on the proposal that I sent to you, Brandy, probably the copy by the end of the month, like so by the end of next week. Then that would give us a couple weeks to work on it.
Let's see. So September 30th and October 30th. Because it can't go out November 30th
Right.
because
Right.
the event.
Right.
So in order to hit both mailings, we have to go September 30th and October 31st. Now, in the past couple years, we have not mailed these.
Right, we
What
haven't.
we've done is just,
The little flyer.
right, so and I think that is typically, doesn't change. I mean, most of the event,
Right.
the library's still holding most of their event, their event changes, but I figured that this right here event is pretty much similar, and we can hopefully in the next week get
Actually,
that.
it takes longer than that, Brandy,
Okay.
and it does change enough. I think what we probably will have to do for that billing is go with what we did before, that little single sheet that we put together.
Okay.
Do you remember how we did that? We did that for the schools, or with, I think it was utility billing. We created our own little one. I can dig around and find that. I don't think we're gonna be able to, this is not gonna be done in a week, there's just no way.
The information, correct?
Huh?
Gathering the information.
Yeah, in the past I've worked with Kelsey,
Mm-hmm.
and it really takes quite a lot of coordination, and a lot of that hasn't even been done yet. We're still working on the choirs, and so that's what changes a lot. You know, the
Choirs.
times when the choirs meet.
Okay.
So, I think what we need to do then for the billing is just go ahead and plan a different, that little one,
The Slim Jim.
yeah,
And that's where we do the 3 sheets this way.
yeah.
Okay.
I think that would work.
So let me pull that
It's
one up.
cheaper too, and then remember what we had, there were always concerns that this was gonna push the postage over the weight. And when we had just that single piece, that worked out just fine.
Yeah.
Randy, last year, did we actually do these in the billings?
No.
Yeah, I
Last
didn't
couple
think
years
so.
we did
Yeah,
not.
yeah, we don't do it in the billings, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So it just works with me the best is you guys giving me a date that you want the brochure, and then I work backwards.
Okay. So
Okay.
when do we want the brochures?
I'm trying to think of when we got them. Do you know when we got them last year? Do you recall?
Like the week before Thanksgiving. I want to say,
That was a bit late.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what we were talking about.
Yeah. I think what did we say? We were hoping to get
First part of
them.
November, perhaps?
At least a month before.
I just need a couple weeks.
Yeah,
for
so
printing.
so what we talked about, because I forget all the time. So delivery of the brochures would be October 28th, so, which would be 2
So
weeks
I would-
earlier than last year is what we're hoping for.
Which means that we would have to, say that date again,
October 28th, she said.
Mhm.
is when you want it this year.
Is what we were thinking would be ideal.
Which means that we would have to have them done and ready for print by the middle of October. Which
Mhm.
means that by the end of September is when we would need, I want to give Kelsey at least a couple weeks.
Do you mind doing it the way we did it before, where we just give her, you know, I actually just sent her the stuff.
No?
And you know what we do is we tag team back and forth, and then that way it's being corrected, improved, and as
Oh, yeah, I
information
don't,
is
yeah,
forthcoming.
Caleb and I don't, on this particular project, we wouldn't want to be there because something's going to get lost in the shuffle. So we would much rather you deal directly with Kelsey like you've done in the years past.
That worked. That really did.
And then Janine's been gathering pictures, so if you wanted other pictures, I don't know. I
Are
don't
they
know how recent
pictures?
they are, but
Are they actual photos of the chimes and lights, or are they Jingle Bell?
Some of them, I believe, are Festival Chimes and Lights. I've gotten responses from Shannon at Kitsap Bank, and then, I cannot pronounce his name, Merlin. He sent me a couple, and I opened up some of them. Some of them do look to be the actual festival chimes, but I think I received maybe between 15 and 20 pictures from those two.
Well,
And I
we
can
have a
send
disc.
them.
Randy, you
Mhm.
still have the disc, don't you?
I think these are outside of the, oh, I don't know, let me find, yeah, because we hired somebody
Oh,
to,
yeah.
yeah.
Can I see some of those?
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
The problem we've had is our event is at night. And you know,
Mhm.
we paid quite a bit to have a photographer one time take those, remember that? And there are always photos of the chimes and lights, because that's during the day. That's our problem, and you know what we're gonna probably have to do again, is budget again for a photographer to do more photos at night, because we've been using these a lot. You can see, and it's very hard to get high resolution, high quality photos taken at night, don't you guys know, right? And so we've been using good old Santa here for quite a few years, because it's so hard to get these photos. But there were good ones, weren't there?
Yes.
Caleb,
yep.
will you make a note to talk to Bob in the next couple of days to see if the Portershit Independent has any good chimes and lights photos? Not the Jingle Bell Run.
And that's
Okay.
what we usually get.
Yeah, make sure
So
you.
she'll look at that.
Yeah, I'll bet even half of your photos are gonna end up being from Jingle Bell. And a one or two are okay in there, but we try to steer away because it isn't our event. It's an
Yeah,
event
sure.
within our event. So, and they do get recognized anyway. But I'm working with Kathleen, and this is the coordination of we usually can't get started on coordinating that until school starts and they get settled.
Okay.
So we'll get back on the track here with talking to all these choirs. And this year, the theme is to do with the sounds of Christmas. So we are really going to be doing a lot more with music groups. And the focus will be very musical down there. So I would think that Pops and everybody's, we already talked to Bobby, and that will be the theme. They'll be working with that in all the shops and everything like that too.
Okay.
So, yes.
Is that the official sounds of Christmas? Or is it still?
Do you remember that, you guys?
Oh, yeah.
We took notes.
The sounds of Christmas.
Is it just the sounds? I've got to find it.
The Sounds of Christmas.
The Sounds of Christmas. Here it is. Yep.
So we also have, we're working on a bell choir at the library.
Oh, neat.
So that'll be cool for it's
So
a
that's
youth
going to be the
event, but
entertainment this year?
We have a lot of things going on.
Okay.
We're gonna do stuff all day long. Bill Stewart and the Hot Flash. I don't know about them, but one of our adult people are working on that.
Bill Stewart
And then one of our librarians has been in a bell choir for many, many years, and currently does one in Eureka Harbor. So she's putting a group together to do that. It'll be like a half hour long.
Oh, cool.
We're gonna have the Fathoms Court Princesses hopefully work with gingerbread houses for the kids, little cracker things, and then we have a whole bunch of crafts and other stuff going on.
You guys are amazing,
So-
really. Fathoms Princesses, okay. Wow, that's a lot going on over there.
So who's going to be the main contact person for the gathering all the information?
So as far as gathering the information and putting the brochure, makes sense that Cindy would coordinate that with you. As far as billing and the actual cost, that needs to be
Yeah, I'm
ran
talking
through you.
about copy. I'm talking about copy. So that would be you. Okay, yeah, that's mainly what I'm talking about is copy. So we would want to send it to press on October 14th.
Okay. October 14th.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
I'll forward this email to you.
Okay.
That
Are we
has
talking
the-
10,000 again?
We did,
Yes. Did we do 10 or 5?
last year you only did 5.
5?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So 5.
Because I think last year we had a box and a half left over. Yes.
Most of those got distributed.
Yeah, we had about a box and a half, and then I think Sharon came in about, 2 to 3 days before the event, and she took them all and did something with them.
And you know what changed last year or in the last year or two was that we used to be able to hand them out at school, right?
That was one, and
And
we
that
also mailed
changed.
them out to each resident, and both of those have been eliminated.
Right. So the 5,000 do work, and a lot of them do go out in the Jingle Bell bags. They have one for
Mhm.
every runner.
Mhm.
So Sheila uses quite a few of those. And we did find ways to get them into schools and things.
Yeah.
Legitimate ways, yeah. I just saying.
There's always a way.
Well,
So,
you
yeah,
know,
the design
every-
of it, work with Cindy, and then I'll forward this email so she has the deadlines. 'cause it
October
should be the same.
14th deadline
For
print. Goes to
print,
press
yeah, goes
October
to-
14th.
Goes to press.
Okay.
So I'm not quite sure how you worked with Kelsey last year. Did you send it in pieces? Like when you got something, you said, here's this for this, and so you didn't just wait and send everything all together. You just as you've got it.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's how we've done it, oh my, quite a few years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
And Caleb here, Caleb Ward. This is
Hi.
he will be your contact. So he'll be printing it out and then bringing you proof. I'm not sure how you did the proofing last year. If you did it all via email or so
We
you
did
just
both, and then at the end, we did have just, a lot of times I just printed it out and had it, and then took it around for people to look at, make sure everything was cool.
Okay.
Caleb, do you have a card by chance?
Yeah.
Cool, thanks.
So when we at the library get our events finalized, we should email them by October 14th.
No,
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 no.
no. That's why I
Or
shouldn't have said that. I
sending-
shouldn't have said that date.
No.
Alright.
Kathleen and I usually work together starting now.
Okay.
So
we should
October
take care of
14th.
that.
The reason I said it so strongly is because that's when we have to send it to the press.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would say by the end of the month, that needs to be communicated to Cindy,
Right, we've been talking.
so we get a first draft.
So Nathan, will I be working mostly with you
Nope.
rather than Kathleen?
No,
Oh, okay,
I'm the one doing most of the planning
okay,
for the library,
okay.
so I'm curious what's going on. But
Yeah, you know, Kathleen is the community volunteer who does everything
She
for every
does.
club.
She really does.
I don't know how she keeps up.
Yeah, I was
She
kidding her
does.
one day how she does it all.
But she contacts all the choirs contact her, she confirms it. And then what we do is we work to change the times closest to the event, because that's kind of when the most people are around. And we don't want one choir, you know, always starting early and all of that.
Oh, so I see what you're saying.
So we switch everything around and switch locations to try to have it be as fair as possible.
Okay.
You guys, another thing I just remembered is they asked for some kind of covering, which I haven't seen yet. We've had bad weather and they have their little instruments and things like that. Remember how they asked for some kind of shelter?
And maybe even looking at a hillside type.
I think the problem is
Visibility was one issue, and then of course money.
yeah, I think money's gonna be the issue for 2016.
The money that we don't use for a lift maybe, or the tree, can that be put towards canopy?
But isn't there some organization out there that has a huge?
They're little tiny tents, you know, like
no one has
Kids at
that.
Bank has one of those.
She wanted a
10 by
20 by
10s.
20.
Yeah, she wanted a pretty big one. And then it's also, there's a lot of wind during that period of time, so you have to have a
Yeah,
wind.
that was nasty. That was the nastiest
It
I'd ever
just
been
takes
down
off.
there. We were just holding on down there, you know.
Yeah. I think the two things was cost and storage.
Oh, that's what it was, cost and storage.
That's what happened at Hogfest. We had a 20 by 40 foot tent, and it was windy that day. Oh God! The
What
wind
about
came and
renting?
gusted and lifted the tent up, moved it about a foot, and slammed it back down again.
I still couldn't get over the amount of people that were willing to go out in
Do you know
that.
what places rent?
It was just bizarre.
There's the place in Paulsbo, the party place, but then there's that big, it's,
There's one in Tacoma,
but there's one in Bremerton,
Kids have events that we trying to think of.
there's just a couple different places.
Where did the tent come last year that was sitting down there in the parking lot by 7-Eleven? When you first came in, there was a big white tent there that you could get out in.
You know what, I
And
think.
they had a bunch of little things going on inside that tent. When you come down the street, it was on the left-hand side across from the Kids at Bank extra parking lot
Jingle
there.
Bell. Jingle Bell has a lot of tents and that kind of thing.
I think it was huge.
Yeah, I think it was theirs. But that, again, that's two separate events, and
Oh,
they
is
have
it?
to take them down and get
Oh,
all that
okay.
stuff back. It's really hard to coordinate too, because you have, just the nature of our two organizations, it's not that easy to coordinate by the way we have to go out and get quotes and that kind of
That
thing.
party rental place in Paulsbo.
But, you know, we could look
Is
at
that party
rentals,
rental place
because
in
that was
Paulsbo?
one thing they really wanted.
It's,
Kids have events.
Is it
20 by
possible
20.
to work with the
there's
naval
second
base?
events too.
Because they have huge
Yeah.
tents all the time.
They have lots of tents.
We
And
you gotta
have
get
no
them
contacts
in
for the naval
advance.
base. I don't
I
even
didn't know if
if
it was
we
a
can.
possibility.
Yeah.
Oh, Wendy,
That might be it.
Wendy Miles.
I get emails from her, I think,
Yes, you do.
or
Yeah,
invitations.
yeah, yeah. She is at Wolf's, what? You could check with her. And she,
We'll reach out to them.
yeah, I bet. If
Yeah,
anyone
kids
would
have
know, it'd be
event
Wendy,
rentals.
because she coordinates all the events, and I never thought of that. That
And
is
I
a
think I
great,
remember you-
great
And do you have the
suggestion.
military come help? You know, because they have, they have the guys that come in and can't leave the basin, so they volunteer, so you can get like a group of them that would come out for the day. And I can get you a contact person if you want that they'll come and help you set up, they'll help you clean up the trash, they will help you with the traffic, they'll help you with,
We've used them for other events, but we haven't used them for Chimes and Lights, and you know, we could, because Al Mahaney has done a lot of that stuff too, and he just can't do that forever. Can we get a
Mhm.
number?
Mhm.
Okay, that would be good.
Yeah, so I'll just email it to you, Cindy, or do you want me to email it to Brandy and have Brandy?
I think Brandy.
Brandy?
Brenda or Janine or both. You know what can and can't be done. I know. Okay. Good.
Okay.
These are such good suggestions. All right, so, about your deadline, and I do think, we may have the,
Events.
for these, what were they? They were called, one-ups?
There's also
Remember that?
a different.
Kids have event rentals
You
and
might not
events.
even, do you remember that?
The
The
Rachel?
one-ups or the Slim Jims, or you're talking about for the printing?
I think that's what we call them,
Yeah, the
one-ups.
one-ups.
And,
They're good luck.
I'll look in our drive and I'll
Run
send it
for
to you to see
fast.
if
yeah.
well, actually, I can
And
ask
that's
Corey because they have it from last year's file.
I'm just not gonna say the next
Yes,
one.
From each
I
of the
think I
buildings.
sent it to Corey.
Yeah.
And all we have to do, that won't take long to update.
They had-
That one won't. So we can get that,
It's a event rental
and
set.
didn't Corey get it
Tents
printed?
were huge.
Isn't she the one who got it
40.
printed?
Yeah, she emails it to the,
Mhm.
the,
Oh, they gotta have something.
Whomever, the distributor or
who
whatever.
does our utility bills, and they print it out and cut it and put it all at the same
And
time.
I remember what, it was a couple $100 or $300, 2 to 3, something like that, that included everything. Okay, so this
Okay.
next week, we'll get that one all done, wrapped up, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll look for it and send it to you this week.
Okay.
For you to look at and then send it off to,
I may have to ask you about downloading some of the bigger files on, are you okay?
Oh, sorry, no, my
Allergies.
ice is allergies.
Okay, okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, I'll talk about.
No,
I'm
that
real
one-
emotional.
No, that one, no.
Sorry.
No, she's really,
Right.
she's really into this.
It Chimes and Lights has always
Wow.
touched her heart, bless her. All right.
Cool. So,
Um,
so on the other thing on that, you used, we were doing the 4-page pullout in the paper as well.
Yes.
And so I put in the proposal that I sent to Brandy, that instead of doing the 4-page pullout, to get the word out sooner
Mhm.
and to spread the budget,
Mhm.
is to do like quarter-page ads in the paper, like on the 11th and, or no, the 18th and the 25th, and then do a full page the Friday of.
What we liked about the pullout is that people actually used it, brought it down and made use of it, had the map and everything on it. And Fathoms has done that, you know,
Mhm.
we started doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So was there a huge price difference between the two?
No.
No?
No, it's just increasing a little bit this year because of cost, but not much at all. I was just thinking that, because you guys just like put all of your dollars into the brochure and then all the dollars into the 4-page pullout without any publicity ahead of time.
No, we had an ad. Remember we had,
You had, I think you had it in the Celebrate, the Celebrate.
Yeah, we
ad.
have
and
that.
This one.
Yeah.
we
and
have
then-
Discover Kids app, we had the Celebrate. we
Well, I'm
had
just
it-
talking about in November.
Right, and we also had it in a gift section or something.
To Celebrate, yeah.
There might be one other one too. No?
So you like the 4-page pullout, Cindy?
I think that that's most effective. It adds, you know, people know it's here. We actually get the word out quite a bit in this town. They're expecting it. It's a traditional thing. And I think that just having that in hand is something that's so useful.
Okay, it's really not either way for our part,
Okay.
because the 4-page pullout is just taking pieces out of that
Right.
and putting it together.
Right, and it's the schedule of events that people want the most. And especially if they've got kids in the choir or whatever, this really does help them with the map and everything. So I think leaning towards that rather
Okay.
than an ad.
Okay. I just wanted to throw it out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember when we switched gears and went that route and how many people ended up liking that. It's a nice reference. And boy, it stands out.
I'll still throw some ads into the Kids App Weekly this year, for the Save the Date Chimes and Lights, so that you can get some countywide coverage. That's a partnership,
Perfect. Thank you.
if you like that.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
That's really good. Okay, looking good. Then honorary tree letter, we were talking about some of that.
So would you mind if we?
No, you go ahead.
Okay, I just have some trees that came down today on my property, so I'm
Oh,
like,
no.
no, I took them down. They're like 100-feet trees.
Oh, wow.
And they were like, and so, I just like,
Oh, good.
I know that my house is still standing, but I want to make sure my power's still turned back on.
This is a year for taking down trees.
Yeah.
I know, I was thinking about that. I mean, these were like huge trees. I mean, they were like And they were like, they can't be trimmed up anymore because they were like right in my front yard. And I was afraid if I turned them up anymore, they'd get top heavy.
Mhm.
So,
To get something 35 feet, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Unless you have some old Christmas tree farm that some guy let some go.
Well, and you know, there were a couple of years where there was a blight that went through this area.
Oh, yeah.
And those big trees have lots of areas missing.
Yeah, they're gonna be real picky about it, you know, because they're going out Thursday and Friday, and they're going in one area, and then they're gonna go to another area and look at it too, so.
How nice.
Yeah,
That was a
it's-
lot of acreage.
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
lot out there to look at, so Roger, he bit off a little bit more than he could chew out there, so they were walking around,
That's
so.
right.
I've been waiting for a phone call
Roger's
to
been
go
out there for weeks.
I've been waiting for a phone call this week that, hey, we're going to the woods, you know, so, I don't know.
Well, I
Well,
hope
thanks,
to see Roger again.
Brandon, I'll be in contact with you about, I'm just finalizing the double budget and the schedule. And you've got your deadlines. I'll talk to Kelsey.
Okay.
And I have your email. So, hopefully, do you think we can get anything starting on the 30th?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's the best day for Kelsey to work, is on a Friday.
Okay.
So she can like be really focused.
Yes, because of your publication.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay,
And if
great.
you guys
That's-
can't find a tree lighter, I'll definitely do it.
Oh, you are so kind. Thank you.
Okay, guys, thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you.
See you guys later.
Terry Bontrager wanted me to tell you that the fire truck will be available for Santa Claus, so
Oh,
nice.
he's
it'll be
so
all squared
sweet.
away, and ready to go, so.
Thank you. Is Jerry doing fine?
It's okay,
Yeah.
you know, we're helping him along.
Thank you.
Yeah, he, you know, he's definitely contributes a lot to that club.
Mhm.
It's hard to watch,
Yes.
because I wouldn't want to be in his shoes. Him and I are about pretty close to the same age, you know, so he's been picked on a little bit, so we just kind of like hover him in so he doesn't get picked on too bad, you know, so.
Oh, he's such a good guy.
Yeah, he means well, he really does, you know, he's so, just try to help him the best we can.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much. And yes, that'll be great to have it again. Yes. So.
He's pretty proud of that fire truck.
Oh, it's a
yeah.
wonderful thing.
It's a neat
It
truck.
really is. And we do, of course, have the band and,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big event. It really is.
Yeah, actually, last year was the first time I'd ever seen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and it was.
Well, and that was not the best weather.
No.
You know, so
no.
you're gonna, if we have nice weather, it's amazing how many people come out. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So did anybody have any other suggestions for the honorary tree lighter? I actually heard a suggestion, and see, we usually try not to wreck the surprise. So, but were there any suggestions?
Brooks.
Brooks, okay.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Isn't he?
He is.
Yeah, he's really
You
poured
could
a lot.
learn a lot from somebody like him.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll put them in a hopper. Okay. Good, I think the next meeting is the 3rd. Brandy, will you be around for that? Double check this.
I will make sure I am.
Monday? Okay. We usually meet, I think it was the 3rd Monday of every month at 3:30. And I think that's October 19th.
At 3:30.
Let me double check.
It is the 17th.
It's the 17th. It's the 17th, thank you.
At 3:30?
Yes, please.
Okay.
And then after that, then we'll be meeting every 2 weeks, because there will be a lot to take care of.
And I did have something really quick, I guess for the good of the order.
Yes.
So I did contact a couple of the organizations. So Kids at Bank will be providing hot cocoa and cider. Heritage Foursquare Church is interested in still providing chili. The Knights of Pythias will still be interested in doing hot cocoa. The Calvary Church would like to do refreshments. Gordon Sound has indicated they would still like to provide sound service. And then, everyone just said as long as everyone's good with them providing their refreshments or food, that they'd be willing to do it again this year.
So
Yeah.
every single one on here confirmed exactly what they had last year?
Same
Yep.
place, same time.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Kathleen,
we'll do ours, sorry.
Kathleen mentioned that Naked Dragonfly Theater is going to do the same schedule as last year, both theaters all day, but doesn't know the movie yet. Hasn't.
Doesn't know the movie. Okay. But we're on for the movie theater. Okay. Oh, I've got to get his name too.
We'll just do the same thing that
And
we
I see-
did down there too, the Saints Car Club.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have an official time for the tree lighting yet?
The tree lighting will be the same as last year, and that is 5:20 to 5:30. The tree lighting and the playing of the chimes.
And you're still working on the choirs and which ones and that
Mhm.
timing? Okay.
Yes, they just have to be shuffled around and confirmed. And at least one or two groups have been added again. So there's more music.
And then who does the coordinating of the tractor hay rides? Do you remember? I know Colbank did it a couple
Yeah,
years ago. and
actually I
can't
took care of
remember
that
who.
last year
Oh.
with them. And we had the same problem. We had to, because of the rain, they couldn't use certain.
Well, they had it pretty slick. They had it covered
I
up
know,
with
did
that
you see what he
plastic.
created?
Yeah, when he went by us, I thought that's
Wasn't
really
that
neat.
amazing?
It was.
Yeah, yeah,
Was it-
so.
Huh?
What was it?
That's
They had like this
Olympic
plastic
tractor,
like a
antique tractor club, and I usually
plastic
just
like
get
a
in touch
tent
with.
kind of clear
and
thing
it
on there,
depends
and
who's
then people
president.
riding in it, you know, because I thought nobody's
they
gonna
don't
get
have
on a
it.
tractor when it's pouring down rain in that wet hay, you
Oh
know.
my goodness.
But they actually were using that thing. It was
So,
pretty slick when he went by us.
Messages, don't answer phones. Yeah, it takes a little doing, but it always works. Yes, it was very cool. And what they did is they narrowed it down to two little smaller tractors.
Yeah.
And they just kept going around and around. And then Al Mahaney took care of the hay and what
Fire
we do
pits.
is, remember how we sent them a check for the fuel? And yeah, Al took care of the fire pits, the hay, and something else. But if we can get the Navy volunteers, I know he could use some extra help because he's swamped. And he had an injury too. I'm not sure how his hip and all of that is. So, all these.
As we get closer, would it be possible to get a paper pass so that when we go the detour route and come around, that we get down by either like Peninsula Feed down there or the antique store, and we could show them, and we can get into the Kitsap Bank with the truck and the trailer at 2 in the afternoon. The police wouldn't let us go down there.
I think Al handles all of the
Chief
permits.
Matai.
They wouldn't let us go down, you know, and I tried to explain to them,
remember
and we
that.
ended up coming back down again, and we went right down the side of the street where people were, because I tried to do it once, and somebody discouraged me and made me go back, so we ended up going completely around again. I ended up back in the same spot, sneaking down by the people down there, and the police officer just told me, go ahead, just be careful, don't hit anybody. That's what the police officer told us.
We'll coordinate that.
So where do you
Just a
enter
pass.
at? Where do you enter at?
We would probably enter at maybe Kitsap Bank and then just sneak along the waterfront to get, we would enter over there by Peninsula Feed, excuse me, not Kitsap
Okay,
Bank.
so enter by Penn Feed.
And then we would just sneak along the backside along the water to get to Kitsap Bank. But what I think he was afraid of was everybody going down in there and then getting in the way of back on the street again.
What time do you need to enter?
Whenever, I'll let you know as we get
Okay,
closer
you give
to
me a
that.
time and I will
Okay.
coordinate that with the chief.
Okay.
Yeah, because I remember they talked to us about vehicles coming in, Jingle Bell, because at 2 o'clock, let me think, the main race starts at 1, I think, and they still have people out there, and so they have to be especially careful. But yes, I mean, as long as Chief Martin knows all that.
Yeah, they were really picky about the street in front of the Orchard Market down there, because I tried to cross the street without using the crosswalk. Guy's just screaming and yelling at me. He made me come up past the bicycle shop, across that way, across this way. It was all controlled how they did it. You couldn't just walk across this empty street from one side where the antique stores were to the market. And I'm like, well, didn't know, you know.
Yep.
Because they were trying to keep the street clear, which I understand, you know. You can't have people walking
Right.
around down there, you know, so.
Right.
But it was just, you couldn't move around very good down there.
Well, we'll try to work that
Yeah.
out this year. Be proactive. Well, I think that's pretty good. accomplished quite a bit. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for what people.